Hi girls, today we are going to see about angle of contact in the 7th chapter, that is properties of matter. So when the free surface of the liquid becomes in contact with the solid, the surface of the liquid becomes curved at the point of contact. And when you see the diagram, you can understand this. In this diagram, the first diagram, the beaker is filled with water, and in the second diagram, mercury. And when you see, the curve is up, that is at the point of contact, the curve is different for both water and mercury. In water, the level is raised, whereas in mercury it is depressed. So this is the difference between angle of contact in water and mercury. So angle of contact is positive for water and it is negative for mercury. Now we shall see about the definition of angle of contact, that is angle between the tangent to the liquid surface at the point of contact and the solid surface inside the liquid is known as the angle of contact between the solid and the liquid. It is denoted by theta. And when you see this diagram, and here theta is the angle of contact, it is angle between the tangent, that is when you see this TLA, that is a tangent, the angle between tangent and the surface inside the liquid, that is called as angle of contact. And here when you see, there are three interfaces: air, liquid and solid. So the liquid is nothing but the air bubble and air, solid. So three phases are in contact with each other, and we shall see one by one. So this angle of contact decides whether the liquid will spread on the surface of a chosen liquid or it will form droplets on it. So the angle of contact is a main factor which decides this one. And so here when you see this TSA, TSL and TLA on the respective interfaces. TSA means tangent at the solid air interface, and TSL is tangent at solid liquid interface, and TLA means tangent in liquid and air interface. And we shall see that in the diagram. Now this is TSA and this is TLA and this is TASL. And so at equilibrium, so when the that is when you say take this liquid, when the liquid is in equilibrium, the interfaces must also be in equilibrium. In such a case, TSA is equal to TLA cos theta plus TSL. That is TSA is in the left hand direction, so it is moving towards the left hand direction, and so here T means tension. This TSA must be equal to the component of TLA. So here the component of TLA is, let it be TLA cos theta. So the component of TLA and TSL, so the sum of these will balance this TSA. So you can write this as TSA is equal to TLA cos theta plus TSL, or simply what is cos theta? Cos theta is equal to TSA minus TSL by TLA. So here theta is nothing but angle of contact and T refers the surface tension. And so here there are three cases possible. The first case, TSA is greater than TSL. In such a case, in this equation, if TSA is greater than TSL, then cos theta will become positive. That means the theta is acute. Acute means it is less than 90 degree. Suppose if TSA is less than TSL, then definitely TSA minus TSL is less than 0. That is angle of contact in such a case is less than 180 degree because cos theta is negative. Suppose if TSA is very greater than TLA plus TSL, then there will be no equilibrium, so the liquid will spread over the liquid solid. So from this equation we are having the three cases: TSA greater than TSL, then TSA less than TSL, then TSA is greater than TLS plus TSL. So why this is very important? Because in our day-to-day applications these things are very important. And so when you take soap and detergent, when they are added, they will try to minimize the angle of contact, and so they will penetrate deep into the clothes and remove the dirt. So this is the first example. So maximum they will try to minimize the angle of contact. Whereas in waterproofing paints, it should not wet, so it will enhance the angle of contact. and so in first case it will minimize the angle of contact so that it can penetrate deep into the cloths. Here the angle of contact is enhanced so that it should not wet the wall. So these are the applications where we are using the angle of contact. And next we are going to see about excess of pressure inside a liquid drop, a soap bubble and an air bubble. So here whether the liquid or liquid gas interface, we can find out what is the surface tension, because the magnitude of interfacial surface tension varies for different surfaces. So here when you take any surface, the surface tension surface will have minimum energy for a given volume. So the surface will have a minimum energy with the least area. So when you take all the geometrical shapes, only the sphere will have least area. So because of this, usually the drop will take the spherical shape. So this is the reason for the spherical shape of the drops, because it tries to have minimum energy. And so next we are going to see about the difference in pressure between the inner and outside of the surface. And here we are having three cases. In the first case, a liquid surface is plane, and here convex in nature, here concave in nature. So for these three surfaces we are going to find out what is excess of pressure. And when you see the first case, that is when the surface is plane, then the forces due to surface tension tangentially to the liquid surface, they act in opposite direction, so the resultant force is 0. So in the case of a plane liquid surface, the pressure on the liquid side is equal to the pressure on the vapor side. So this is the first case. And suppose when the liquid surface is curved, then every molecule will experience a force, and we are resolving these forces into rectangular components, and usually the horizontal components get cancelled and only the vertical components will be added up. And here it is convex surface, here the vertical components are added so that the resultant force is acting towards the radius, whereas here the excess pressure is acting away from the center of the point of the curvature. So here when the liquid surface is curved, then every molecule will experience a force, and we shall see that the rectangular components after resolving, the horizontal components cancel out, whereas the vertical components are added up. So here when you take convex surface, the resultant force is directed inwards towards the center of curvature, whereas in the concave surface the resultant force is directed away from the center of curvature. So the pressure on the concave side is usually greater than the pressure on the convex side. So this is the main result we have got here. And next we are going to see about the excess of pressure inside a bubble and a liquid drop. And when you take the bubble, inside the bubble you are having only air, whereas in the liquid drop you are having the liquid inside the drop. That is a main difference. That is, air bubble will consist of air inside the bubble, whereas liquid drop, the liquid is inside the drop. So here the bubble or liquid drop does not collapse because of the combined effect, that is a pressure inside the bubble or a drop is greater than the outside it. And so there is some pressure excess inside the bubble or a drop, and we shall see what is excess of pressure inside the air bubble in a liquid. So here now the excess pressure inside the air bubble is taken to be delta P, which is equal to P1 minus P2. So where P1 is the outside pressure and P2 is the inside pressure, the difference is taken as delta P. And so for the hemispherical portion of the bubble, we are considering the forces acting on it, and here we are considering the hemispherical surface. So when we consider the forces, there are two forces acting towards the right and there is one force acting towards the left. So here when you take the right side forces, that is the surface tension acting along the circumference, and the pressure will be acting along the across the cross sectional area. So when you take surface tension, you should consider the circumference, whereas pressure you have to consider the area. So here the force due to surface tension is 2 pi r into T, where r is the radius of the bubble and T is surface tension, and this force is acting towards the right. Another force is also acting towards the right, that is the excess pressure P1 outside pressure. So Fp1 is equal to P1 pi r square. Here you have to consider about the area because it will act along across the area. And which force is acting towards the left? That is given by Fp2, that is pressure inside the bubble, which is given by P2 pi r square. So under equilibrium, the two right side forces must be equal to one left side force, that is Fp2 must be equal to Ft plus Fp1. Substituting that, you will get P2 pi r square is equal to 2 pi rt plus P1 pi r square. Whenever you write the pressure, you have to consider the area, whereas for surface tension, you should consider the circumference. So here when you take P2, the minus P1 pi r square is equal to 2 pi rt, and the common terms getting cancelled, you will get delta P is equal to P2 minus P1, which is given by 2T by R. So here the excess pressure is equal to 2T by R, where T is surface tension and R is the radius of curvature. And next we are going to see about excess pressure inside the soap bubble. And the difference here is the soap bubble has air on both the sides. So inside also outside both the sides are having air. So the soap bubble has two liquid surfaces in contact with the air, one inside the bubble, the other outside the bubble. So when you see about surface tension, you have to multiply 2 by 2. So 2 into 2 pi rt, because two surfaces are in contact with air. So here the force, that is the main difference here. So here the force due to surface tension is Ft is equal to 4 pi rt, and Fp1 is equal to P1 pi r square, and Fp2 is equal to P2 pi r square. And under equilibrium, Fp2 must be equal to Ft plus Fp1, and after substituting, you will get the excess pressure delta P is equal to P2 minus P1 is equal to 4T by R. So this is the case of soap bubble. So here you are having 2T by R for air bubble inside the liquid, whereas for soap bubble you will get 4T by R. So because it is having two surfaces in contact with air. And next, when you see about the excess pressure inside a liquid, and so this is excess pressure inside the liquid drop. Here also there is only one surface in contact with the air. So this derivation is the same as the first case. So here also the surface tension will be acting along the circumference, and the pressure will be acting across the surface area. And so here the force due to surface tension towards right is Ft is equal to 2 pi rt, and the outside pressure and inside pressure you have to write, and under equilibrium equate the left side pressure, that is forces acting towards right must be equal to the forces acting towards left. You have to equate that, and so after simplifying you will get the same as in the first case, where delta P is equal to P2 minus P1 is equal to 2T by R. So we have seen three cases. In the three cases, the first and third case will have the same formula 2T by R, but only the soap bubble will have different expression. That is, for soap bubble you have the excess pressure as 4T by R. So for these three cases, only the soap bubble will have the excess pressure. So that's all, girls. Hope you understand.